Have you been wondering what's happened to the real estate market since the election has come and gone? Well, I have all the details for you here today. We're going to dive through some stats or show you some predictions for 2025 from Chief Economist Yun at the National Association of Realtors, and just give you the general lay of the land of what I think is going to be happening in the near future. So stick around and let's get going right now. Hey, I'm Nicole Cooper, your Austin area specialist for real estate. And if you want to be the first to know what's happening in and around town, then tap the bell and subscribe, and I'll always love you for it. So let's get going. Let's talk about Yun's predictions first, and then we'll dive into local Austin real estate. So here you have it. Here is the article, NAR economists weigh in on home sales and mortgage rates. So the last 2 years have been sluggish. We know that. If you've been paying attention to this last year, it's been even more sluggish than 2023. And that has a lot of things to do with it. It has interest rate, election, and we had that summer slump, which we do every year. So here are Yun's forecasts over the next 2 years. He says that in 2025, our existing home sales are going to rise 9% year over year, and new home sales jump 11% year over year. Now, keep in mind, he's talking about volume, not price or median sale price or things like that. This is the volume of homes. That would easily be done because we had such a low volume this year, and we'll get to that in a few moments. In 2026, he thinks it's even going to go up more, existing home sales to rise 13% year over year. So that's 9% next year, and then a 13% over that the following year, and new home sales to increase by 8%. Let's talk about the interest rates. The mortgage rates always have a major bearing on how the housing market will fare. And this past year, it has ranged from 6.08 to 7.44%. Today, we're hovering just close to 7%, just a bit under. It has gone down a little bit in the last couple of weeks. However, he's projecting them to stabilize for the next couple of years, but not really dip too much. One reason why they won't dip too much is right here. A large budget deficit will prevent mortgage rates from going down to 4% as they did during President Trump's first term. So what does it look like? What are the predictions right now? Well, everything is pointing to them to still be in the sixes. Towards the lower end, we hope. So as he says here, the rate should stabilize at the low end of the range for 25 and 26, and the low end of that range is 6.08%. So no one is expecting rates to go down to the fives, and especially not the fours, in the next couple of years. And to back that up, we go to realtor.com, and they are quoting that November's housing market is the slowest pace in 5 years. And why is that? We find high interest rates in November led to the slowest market since January of this year and the slowest November in 5 years. Again, we're hovering around 7%. So here are their forecasts for the interest rates over the next couple of years. The report forecasts that mortgage rates will average 6.3% across 2025 and end the year at 6.2%. So there you have it. Mortgage rates are going to go down a tad, but they're not going to be earth-shatteringly low. They're not going to rock the boat. If they do rock the boat, we are going to have a bottleneck of buyers like we did pandemic levels. Hopefully we won't see that again. That's not healthy for anyone or any market. So let's dive into some Austin specific numbers and see what we are looking at, right here in our backyard. Here is the City of Austin specific data here we're looking at. Right now, median sale price, $610,000, call it. Average sale price, $808,000, call it. But let's look at the graph year over year. This is started back in 2014, so this is a 10-year picture of where prices have gone. 2020, here is where we saw the beginning of COVID, the huge spike in 21 and 22, and then the correction here in 23, and we've stayed mostly flat from 23 to 24. So as far as volume goes, we're down 2.8% from last year, and the amount of sales were down 4.2% from last year. Our median sale price and average sale price, though, is basically flat, 0.3% up and 1.1% up. So that's kind of static from year to year. So if we look at it by the monthly view, this month we are at $595,000 for median sale price, and this is comparing November of this year to November of last year. So we're doing better by number of sales, up 10%. This is again City of Austin, and our volume's up 13% compared to November of last year. So here is the graph. We had a pretty dismal October, which is probably a large part due to the election. Everyone just pushed the pause button and waiting to see what happened. And then the rest of November finished a little bit higher than last year. Overall, when we look year to year, here are our numbers. Just about 610,000 for median and 605,000 for median last year. This is a fun graph to look at here on buyer demand because it shows you the price or the close price in comparison to the list price. So this horizontal line right in the middle is 100% list price. This peak when we were paying 6-7% over list price, that was still COVID times. And now we're back to a more normal kind of line under here with less than 100% of ask price. It is not normal for people to give more than ask on average. It happens every now and then, but it shouldn't happen on average. So right now for November, we're sitting at an average close to list price of 92%. And that is to original list price. This is not if the closing list price, because if there are price reductions, it may sell at that full asking price at the time. So this is compared to original list price. In October, it was a little bit lower, so we've come up just a little bit for November. And you can see it over time out in the summer months. Here's the spring and summer, April, May, and June. We get a little bit closer to that list price at 95% because our market's always strongest in the springtime and just into the beginning of summer. You can see the same thing here with where it is reflected at days on market, where we have April, May, and June in the teens, and then we slowly edge up the rest of this last year. It's been pretty sluggish, as you've heard me mention. But then look, here is interesting. In October, we were at 53 days on market, and then in November, we dropped down to 46 days on market. So that's a trend in the right direction if you're a seller. It's been a buyer's market all year this year. The buyers have had leverage. They still do. I think the buyers are going to continue to have leverage through February of next year. Of course, they're going to have the lowest amount of inventory to choose from as well. However, if you are looking to buy something, I would do it December, January, February. Spring prices will go up. They just will, no matter what the interest rate is. Now, let me put a little disclaimer in there saying, like, if the interest rates go to 8, 9, or 10%, that is a wash for my statement. But if they stay around where they are now, or they go lower, as they're predicted to do just a little bit, we're going to see prices and activity go up in spring, and it'll be more towards a balanced and maybe even a seller's market through spring, and then it might dip back down into a buyer's market after, but we don't know. It depends what the interest rates do and what the government does under the new regime. But I can predict shorter term, at least I hope I can. If you're a buyer, buy now. If you're a seller and you can wait for the spring. If you've got it on the market, it's been sitting for a long time, take it off, let the days refresh to 90. You've got to stay off the market 90 days to refresh, to have 0 days on market when you come back on in the spring. Very little happens in the winter in Texas. Sometimes you'll have some year-end sales for tax purposes and things like that. But January is always dead. Everyone's paying for everything they bought for Christmas, waiting for their tax returns to see how much money they're going to get back. February, people start thinking about it towards the end of Feb, beginning of March. That's when it happens. So you heard it here first. Buy now. If you can wait to sell, do it. And just to drive that price home, let's look at the inventory data here. This is when new listings hit the market. Look in December, it's the lowest. Last December, you can see these bottom points on the graph here. Nobody likes to list their home in December if they don't have to. But know that if they do list their home in December, they're very serious about selling. So then the inventory picks up January, February, March, peaks in April and May, and then starts to come back down from there. And it does that pretty much every year, minus the COVID chaos. Here's the time when most things go under contract. You can see that the lowest here is in November, and because going under contract in November, I don't know why, it just never, people just don't do it. Maybe they're worried about eating all that turkey at Thanksgiving, I'm not sure. More contracts go under in December, because remember that year-end push, and then we start building up towards spring. And we have the most as of 2020, in 2024, we had the most contracts go under in March and April. So that gives you kind of the lay of the land. If you're thinking about putting your home on the market, give me a call. Let's make a strategy together, because there is a way to maximize the most amount of money you will get, and I can help you with it. If you're looking to buy, maybe a little sooner, we need a strategy for that too. So look, I'm always here to help you with the perfect strategy that fits your lifestyle. So give me a call, shoot me a text, or send me an email. I'm always around. Until next time, be kind to yourself and others. I can't wait to see you around town.